Let's take a look at Hey Mahi 3. Now this one here is slightly different in the way it's constructed, very similar in terms of wording. So this is like the last one, does not cross the x-axis. So it could touch the x-axis, but it can't cross in more than one point. In other words, it's going to have one point of intersection or no points of intersection, but it can't have more than one point of intersection. That's what do not cross or does not cross means. All right, so this time we're finding, last time we found the C part of the equation. We have C part was missing, the coefficient of C missing. This time the coefficient of the B term is missing, and we've called it M in this case. So let's find M. Now, notice, of course, it's M, but we also know when it's M, if no points of intersection are involved, or 2 points of intersection are involved. By the way, also 1 point of intersection is involved here. But if it was just 1 point of intersection, then we wouldn't worry about doing this next step. But if there's 2 points, which there's not, or no points, which there could be, then we must do a little extra dance on the end of the calculation here. So let's have a look at what we need to do here. So in this case, we're going to find the M term. We're going to find the unknown term. We're going to use the discriminant function to do it, discriminant equation to do it. So we've got b squared minus 4ac. In this case, it does not cross. Therefore, it's going to be less than, and it could also touch. So it's also equal to, less than or equal to 0. And we talked about how that played out last time. So let's have a look. Here's our A term. A is 2. Our B term, B is M. And of course, our C term is 2. They're the coefficients of the respective x squared, x, and x to the 0 terms. So B, well, B squared, that's going to be M. So M squared minus 4 times A, well, A in this case is 2, times C, well, C is 2 also, is greater or equal to 0. So let's see what all this comes. Sorry, less than equal to 0. I said greater, didn't I? That was no good. So M squared, so M squared minus, well, 4 times 2 is 8 times 2 is 16, is less than or equal to 0. Now, we have a perfect square here. This is the same as saying M plus 4, M minus 4 is less than or equal to 0. Of course, I can draw this as a little graph. I can go like this. We can say, here's my y, and here's I'm going to call this M in this case, and I've got a 4 here, negative 4, sorry, and a positive 4 here, because M is going to have to be negative 4 if it's going to be here, and positive 4 if it's going to be 0 on this side. Of course, if I was to draw, now notice, this is very important, I'm not drawing the parabola. I'm not drawing this thing up here. I'm drawing what the discriminant describes. And what it describes is the range of values. And we can look at this to say, what do we need to know here? What does this tell us? So because it's less than or equal to 0, it's either going to be at 0 or it's going to be less than 0. And these are the values that are less than 0. Over here are the values that are greater, because this goes up here, yes? These are the values that are greater than 0. We don't want greater than 0 or less than, sorry, greater than 4 or less. These are greater than 0 values, greater than 0 values. These are less than 0 values. So if we're looking at less than 0 values, we've got what is the range of those? Well, it's going to be from this point here to this point here. And what is that? Well, we're going to be using the less than or equal than signs in order to denote that range. So what would that look like? So we're going to have M, I'll just write it, so I'll write on the side here. So M is going to be, in this case, less than 4, so it's going to be less than or equal to 4, so it's going to be here and downwards, and it's going to be here, which is negative 4, it's going to be greater than negative 4, oops, sorry, it's going to be greater than negative 4 or equal to negative 4. So it's going to be greater than this point or less than this point, greater than this point, less than this point. So now we have to write the really important bit on the end of that, yeah? So we should say the graph with the curve of the equation blah does not cross the x-axis when m is this. So I'm going to actually write all that in. So I've got the graph, oops, can't see that, can you? Sorry, my bad. The graph of the curve with the equation, as I'm doing EQN as my abbreviation for equation, y equals 2x squared plus mx plus 2 does not cross the x-axis when ... this thing here is true. So this is the bit we need to do to show that we understand what we have just found out. By the way, please excuse my terrible handwriting. As long as it's readable, that's the key thing in an exam.